By the power, Grayskull, I have the power! Of course, is the great quote from He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Hello there, this is Alex from Lights, Camera, Debate, and let's get into the new He-Man film, Masters of the Universe, which I saw on Wednesday, day one of it coming out in the UK. So I hope you're all great. Showing the weather's gone down the creek, what good, because it was miles too hot. So this is a really good new version of the Masters of the Universe He-Man animation cartoons, what came out in the late 80s. Yeah, they were like Transformers, a way of selling toys basically, and Mattel made lots of money selling the toys and linked it to animations. We had one film in the late 80s, which was quite out there, quite scary with Skeletor, and then now Travis Knight has decided to reboot like he did with Transformers when he did Bumblebee, the whole He-Man franchise. And I expect there's going to be more films and lots of toys sold. I think you can buy the great Grey Soul Power Sword, basically. I think Mattel are selling those by the bucket load again. This film's very good. It's sort of a free act film, is the best way of describing it. You have the first part of the film where you see Adam as a young child and being skilled with swords in Eternia by Duncan, who is Idris Elba. And Idris Elba is absolutely fantastic in this film from start to finish, and is a really good. You can see he hasn't fallen out with MGM Amazon. He really likes this part, unlike where he fell out, I think, with Marvel for the Handel character in the four films. He really hated that by the end, I think. So I doubt he'll be back for Doomsday or Civil Wars at any time, because he really fell out with Marvel over that. But his character as Duncan is really great. He's the dad of T-Ra, the main female. I can't remember his spells. He's very good. He's very good. And Nicholas Knight, is that how you pronounce it? He's got a weird surname. Nicholas Galaxy, let's get it right, surname. Plays a really good He-Man, Adam Grayskull, and the fact you got the first bit where he's on Eternia and he's fighting, learning his skill, and then because of what happens with Skeletor, he blows the whole palace up basically and kidnaps his parents, and the sorcerer who can turn into a falcon. And this is going to get very meta, unfortunately. If you're not into meta and theory, then this is going to get a bit weird. He goes off to Earth, and I think the Earth bit really works. He goes on dates, he's got a flatmate, he's got a job, and he's still believing that he's Adam Grayson. He wants to find the sword, and I think the Earth bit could have been longer. I think that bit could have been more fun. I couldn't, because it's been done. Unfortunately, it was done with the first Kenneth Branagh 4 film. Then they sort of cut it down and made that not bit too long. And he finds the sword really easy, I thought personally. Then you've got the third bit where he goes back to Eternia. T-Lar finds him, and so does Duncan, and they start training him and getting him to work out how to use the sword. And there's great bits with the sorcerer, and you get that great line. There's a shiver down your. He's really good. Nicholas is, when he does the whole power line from He-Man, and I really like Gerald Lower from is it Ten Sons of Night? And Gerald Lower is really good as Skeletor. You don't really see the Skeletor face, which is a shame. I'd like to have seen that white face from the Skeletor look, but you don't really see that. He's very good, Gerald is, as Skeletor. There's some great scenes. That's what I'm saying. It does go at a pace. This film it is 2 hours 20. But the skeletal bits with He-Man at the end are probably the best, but the fights there are really good. The special effects CGI isn't over the top. It's about the right ratio, because this is a complete fantasy film, so it's better to be mammothly bold, but it's quite tailored well. The action scenes are very good. Like the third quarter of the film, which is a complete battle scene, basically. With of course, you've got the cute tiger as well, who He-Man rides, and his best friend, old Crabbers. He's really great as the tiger. I think it works really well. The mixture of animation and that sort of stuff, and having real actors like Idris Elba, who's fantastic as Duncan. He really steals the show after Nicholas is good as He-Man. And then this final bit, it says he's got the big battle with Skeletor, and then you get this very meta bit. I don't know if it works or not, where Skeletor pushes down on his head and gets into the world that Adam's come from, the sort of human world, and pretends to be all these different people, and that's quite funny. There was quite a few jokes. I was laughing, though. I was in an audience but didn't seem to be getting it, unfortunately. They were quite quiet and didn't really laugh a lot. I found it quite funny in certain bits. It's a good film. It works very well, I think, as a new version of the He-Man. Yes, we know it's here to sell Mattel lots of toys, and it probably will do that because there's lots of people. But they sort of skimmed it back. I don't think they brought all the characters back for the first film because they obviously want to do a second film, Amazon MGM. They probably want a franchise from this, and I think they will get one because the characters are good. Around all this, though, you also had fantastic music. Brian May from Queen and Daniel Pemberton's a really good music guy for films. Has put together this great piece of music that goes through and out. And it's very Queen, and there are bits also from Highlander, which is the other film Queen did many ago. I seriously recommend, if you're a Queen fan, to pull out the Highlander soundtrack because it's very good. And there are bits from that soundtrack in this film, plus new stuff from Queen and Daniel Pemberton. And then the credits track is a fabulous track from The Darkness, which is really good. So the music's as important as the film in this film, definitely. It's a real backdrop to the film. I think it's a good film. It's nothing you're going to remember. It's nothing going to set the world on fire, but it's a good 2 hours 20 action film. It has lots of good action. It has some good lines from the other characters. Like the Robotnik character is there to blow things up, and he's sort of, Duncan keeps getting shot by her, basically. It's quite funny. Good special effects, good explosions. I said Idris Elba basically steals the show. Nicholas is good as He-Man, and Jared Leto as Skeletor is very good because it's done very skillfully. The two people played Tila and the other witch, I can never remember her name, are really good. So it's a good full-on cast, I personally think. Is it worth going to see? I would say yes. Though I expect, because it's Amazon MGM, it will be on Amazon Prime in a short length of time, basically. Yeah, so basically, I really enjoyed He-Man. Thought it's well worth a watch. Good music. I'd go just for the music because the music's great from Queen and Brian May and The Darkness. I liked it. I thought it was well done. The only thing I would have probably done is I'd probably made the Earth bits a bit longer and a bit more fun there because they're quite short. And the fact he finds the sword ridiculously quickly, it could have been increased and made longer and more difficult for him personally. But otherwise, I think it's a really good film. It has a lot going for it. I'd go and watch it. Go and enjoy it. It is fun. It's a good version, and I like the fact when you got to the end credits, you had what you always had in the animation, like a good reason for doing these things. You always had this is a moral code. You had the moral code at the end. I like that. Yeah, the bits at the end are definitely setting it up for a He-Man 2, and I'm not going to go into it because it will spoil it. But there is bits, you have to stay right to the end of the credits to see 2 extra bits, and the extra bit is setting up definitely the second film in a trilogy. I reckon they're going to go for MGM Amazon. But I reckon this will be on Prime in under a month. Things have gone ridiculous. You can go to a film now. I think I went to Mortal Kombat 2, and I think tomorrow that is on HBO Max. Things have gone out ridiculously fast now. Though I'm still waiting for Avatar 3, is it? Fire and Ash to drop on Disney Plus, so I want to see that. But something very interesting happened when I was at the cinema for you audio description lovers like me. I set up my headphones in the Odeon Exeter, and they're always really helpful there. I put them on my knee because I know trailers don't normally have audio description. And suddenly, the trailer for The Odyssey, which looks absolutely fantastic, Christopher Nolan's mammoth film on the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, suddenly my headphones started talking, and I flipped them on my ears. So didn't have them in my ears. And the Odyssey had audio description for the whole trailer, which made a lot more sense. I finally got to see the point of the Cyclops at the end of the trailer. I had no idea the Cyclops was there. Then it went back to Supergirl, which is a Warner Brothers trailer and had no audio description. Then it showed off a trailer for Universal again for Disclosure Day, which I'm going to see next week. There will be a review on the channel next week. This is the new Steven Spielberg film, Disclosure Day, and that had audio description. So it seems that Universal films have audio description for their trailers. So come on, everybody else. Come on, Paramount. Come on, Warner Brothers. Add audio description to all your trailers and make my life a lot easier. So that's very cool. So let me know if you get that. If you go and see a Universal or Sony MGM film, or Amazon MGM. I think it's Amazon MGM. It's alright with He-Man. Let me know if you get that as well. And it wasn't just the trailers; it was the Universal deal they're doing with Odin. If you go and get tickets early for Disclosure Day, you can win a really cool telescope, and that had audio description. So it seems to be anything from Universal seems to have audio description, which is a very cool thing. So yeah, films I need to see because the weather was so hot, and I will be doing for the channel is I need to go and see Backroom, which apparently is making super amounts of money. A film that cost £10 million to make and has made 180 million in America. I need to go and see The Mandalorian, which is meant to be terrible, and I want to see it because it's Star Wars and because it's making no money. And Disney apparently today have gone mental about that. And I want to go and see the new Richard E. Grant film. I can't find it in a decent screen. That is, I can't. It's something. I can't. What it's called now? Savage House. Savage House. I think that's called Savage House. That looks very good. So if you've seen any of these films, please put a comment on the things. I read all the comments. And of course, it'd be lovely to get to 50. Now we're on 40 subscription wise. So carry on subscribing. And that's all, folks, for this time. But next time coming will be reviews on Doomsday, Backroom, and The Mandalorian. Hopefully, if I can get to the cinema for that. So enjoy and like the channel.